Hello my people, if there is something I don't like, it's when someone speaks ill of their family. Especially not for anything, but because if the other person has not spoken ill of you publicly, who are you to speak ill of your relative publicly? In this case, we are talking about Prince Harry and Queen Elizabeth II, who, to top it off, is no longer alive. So it seems quite ugly to me that Prince Harry, well, in the end, public figures neither like me nor dislike me. I simply echo the media and give you my opinion based on the attitudes that I am seeing. And I think that speaking in certain terms about his grandmother, obviously, I don't find it funny. Just as I wouldn't like it if third parties talk about me publicly when things can be talked about privately. So it is true that, well, there have been things that he has commented about his grandmother that he did not like and he has made it public. This would be a bit of the controversy that I see here and that I would like to discuss with you. My people, you are in Royal News TV HD, I would like you to subscribe, left a comment, or give a like. Well, I think many of you will understand me perfectly when I say that, hey, if no one has ever spoken ill of you, obviously we are not going to speak ill. We are not famous. I imagine that 99% of the people who are watching me are not famous, so you are in the same situation as me. I imagine that you will not like it if, hey, in a community of neighbors, in your street, other neighbors criticize you publicly when you have perhaps done nothing or are things that you can solve privately, with family or with neighbors, with friends. Obviously it is not liked. I think you can talk privately, and that should not be made public. So, imagine, well, in front of everyone, of the millions and millions of people that we are in the world, that now Harry speaks according to what thing of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Deceased. It seems quite ugly to me. And it is that he has been precisely talking about the time in which Prince Harry was stripped of his military titles because he, let's say, threw, in my opinion, from what I have seen, he stretched the gum a lot, to see how far he could go with the issue of, well, carrying, that is, remaining in the royal house but doing fewer things and having more freedom. Then, of course, his grandmother, obviously, in that sense, I understand that she is very strict. She said either white or black. Here there are no grays. Well, when I want some, no, not when you want to do an act, no, or white or black, or you are with us or you are out. It is not that you are against us or you are out. And he decided, as I do not want to continue like this and there is no other solution. Either black or white, either you're in or you're out, and I think that Queen Elizabeth II did it well. For me, I think it was something logical that she did, and the decision that Harry made, he made it, according to the premises that his grandmother had given him, either black or white, and he decided. Well, according to my mistake, Prince Harry was excited and demoralized after the great decision of the late Queen. When Prince Harry ceased to be a member of the royalty in 2020, his life would never be the same, but a decision made by the late Queen left him particularly excited and demoralized. The literal translation of excited, I imagine with the word that would be in English, that is not, that I have not seen it because it is already translated by Google, I imagine it would be another. Well, I think it would not be excited but more than anything, they would be two very similar words, demoralized and another very, very similar, okay. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have made a series of sacrifices since they left their post as members of the royalty, but one defeat affected the Duke of Sussex more, the real authors affirmed. Harry stated in his memoirs, Spare, that he never wanted a total break with the royal family or with the royal role with which he had grown up, but that he wanted to adopt a more hybrid approach. However, this suggestion was quickly rejected by the palace, which considered that the aces were either in or out. I think it is quite logical. The rules are not for him to put. He can propose, obviously, and he proposed. And obviously, then the grandmother says no, 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 here this is not, you cannot be a prince à la carte, this or you are a prince or you are not. Obviously, he was the one who decided. He proposes that it is good that he proposes everything he wants and the grandmother gives him to choose. At no time did she strip him of the titles without permission. She gave him to choose and he decided what he wanted. But I find it regrettable that he tramples on the name of his grandmother now with these statements. Being outside of the royal, the Duke lost one by one his sponsorships, his automatic police security, and finally his house in Windsor, which the late Queen Elizabeth would have given to him and his wife. Harry has expressed his great concern about losing his automatic right to protection. We have already talked about this. If you are not, let's say, a real prince with your titles, then obviously you cannot have Category 1 protection. In fact, he has the 2, but he has to pay for it. Every time he goes to the United Kingdom, he has to pay for it, and he would have the right to, let's say, the 2, which is quite good, but it is not the 1, which we say is, well, the most powerful, not the most protective. They affirm that there was another painful decision by the late Queen Elizabeth that affected Prince Harry enormously. Apparently, he was emotional and demoralized after having been stripped of his military titles when he resigned from his royal duties. The Duke of Sussex was forced to give up his cherished roles in the British Army after moving to California with Meghan in 2020. Harry promised to maintain ties with men and women in the military after leaving the forces in 2015, reports the Daily Star. This aspect of Megxit, let's say, the departure of Meghan and Prince Harry from the British royalty, was the most demoralizing according to the authors of Finding Freedom, Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand. The book says that if the validation of his experiences by his grandmother served as a stimulus, the most demoralizing aspect of the new agreement was that they stripped him of his honorary military appointments that had been granted to him as a high member of the royals. But that's what I'm telling you, he was a member of the royalty. If you stop being a member of the royalty, they have to strip you of your titles. It's like if you quit your job and you want to keep getting paid for it. If you're no longer a boss, then you can't get paid for it. It's kind of similar to what I'm talking about. As a retired military man, Harry could always use his medal, but he could no longer wear a uniform as Captain General of the Royal Marines, Honorary Commander of the Royal Air Force Base Hong Jin-jong, and Honorary Commodore-in-Chief of the Royal Navy's diving operations and small ships. These functions had come to an end. It's true that he cured himself a lot there. But hey, things have regulations. He was given a choice, that he could have been stripped of his title simply by proposing it, and it wasn't like that. He decided, and obviously, well, when deciding, everything has its consequence. Well, a source told the authors it was a hard pill to swallow and the most painful one was for Meghan to witness. It was the one that excited Harry. Well, I perfectly understand what his grandmother did. Who I really don't understand is that today, well, he mentions or makes statements Harry on this matter about the grandmother. A deceased woman who I think made a quite correct decision, and I don't really understand Harry why he does this. Now my people, see you in the next video. I look forward to your comments. Greetings.